welcome to Satsang today. Guru Shri Muji Baba ki Jai. If you had to be somebody, can you do it without a thought? If Radha has to be Claire, and Claire has to be Radha, how would you do it? You'd have to pick up some Claire thoughts, you'd have to pick up some Radha thoughts, some ideas about who you are. Without that, you cannot do it. In fact, you're not anybody right now. Can it be this simple? That the ego that you're trying to get rid of, you are rid of it. If you're done with all concepts about yourself, what is there to do? I often say that if this was the last page of your autobiography and the pen just stopped or the keyboard just stopped typing, nothing more to write, not even one last I'm free. Not even that. Not even one last I got it finally. Nothing. You just lost all sense of identity. And nothing you can say about yourself no longer feels like the truth. Not even are you okay with this? Because usually I ask, are you okay with this? But not even that. Just stopped. Mid sentence. Nothing to report, nothing to complain, no interpretation of any feeling. Guruji says, who are you without your story? What are you without the concepts about yourself? Are you somebody? We learned this, how to be somebody. We have learned this bad habit. We have been told you must be somebody. Now that somebody is trying to be a nobody. Have you seen, isn't it, in Satsang? I'm just trying to become nobody and I'm trying every day. That somebody trying to be a nobody. God pretending to be a person, pretending to be God. Drop one notion now, whatever notion you want, one of your favorites. Preferably one that starts with but. If it's too simple, I can complicate it a bit. I can bring big words like consciousness and awareness into the picture. Actually, you don't need any concept. Just show me your boundary. You can show me your boundary. Where do you stop? Where's your boundary? Seriously? Sure. Is your boundary inside the body? Is the body your boundary? Is your boundary outside the body? Is it outside the zone? Where do you start and where do you end? Yesterday I was asking all of you, what does I represent for you? Bring it into your own life. There is no need to explain it. There is no need to proclaim it. Does I represent something? I've also been encouraging all of you to say I. Say I. What does this I represent? And I don't mean conversationally. I mean seriously, with integrity. What does it represent for you? This is a inquiry worth doing. What are the options? Is I a set of sensations, which you call the body? Is I just a name? Just a name pointing to nothing? Is I a representation of all your memories? Who is this I? Is I an object called awareness? Is I a thing called the self? Because many times even these can become concepts. Oh, I am the self. What do you mean by self? No, the self. Who are you? I am awareness. There is awareness behind. Behind what? Behind everything. Just ideas. Who does the I represent? And Guruji says, bring the I in the witness box. Bring the I to the witness box. Who will you bring? And if you don't know who you will present in the witness box, how can that witness have a story? You see, this is the play. The story seems so tangible. The I cannot find. My story seems real. The me is not there. All one big make believe. What will you lose really if you lose all your concepts? If you lose all your concepts, you will lose all your grievances, your resentment, your story, your pride, your guilt, your suffering. Is any concept worth all of this? What about the concept of me? How much suffering are you willing to endure to be me? To be the best me, the best me. And the minute you pick up the idea of Mr. Me or Mrs. Me or Miss Me, in that minute you pick up the idea of desire, of doership, of duality. And you find the one who ever wanted anything at all. How long will you let a group of sensations, an interpretation of a group of sensations convince you that it is you? The body, the body. Suppose you didn't know the term the body. Every sensation was experienced independently with no overarching concept called the body. There is no body. If you did not have the concept of world, no concept of world, no concept of body. Every sensation experienced independently. This is your experience actually. This voice is being experienced. This visual is being experienced. But is there a me who is doing it and a you that is experiencing it? These are conceptual. This is our training. This is our conditioning. I am just this set of sensations. The other set of sensations is the world. This is not original to us. This is not natural for us. That is why so much suffering seems to be experienced. And now you're tired of making this fake position for the positionless one. You can just make a particular position. Now, Ishwari will relate to me on this. So the other day, I was doing some yoga. In that, I did this, what is a plank pose, and then that cat cow, downward dog, all that. What you do with your hands on the floor, like that. So like that. And then I didn't really know what the counter pose is, so I just left it as that. I did a few of those, and I left it at that. So yesterday was it or day before? I had this pain in my shoulder, on my neck, and I knew that something was caught. Something was. And then I tried various things. I put some balm and we did all sort of stretching. All that needed to be done at that time was this. The hand had to come the other way because it got stuck in this position and something got stuck there. So it had to just counterbalance itself with the opposite of that. So satsang is like this. You got stuck in a position and now we're removing the position. And that's why whatever concepts you hear in satsang, just the counter poses to your position. So that you come to this neutrality, this ease of nothingness. If you get stuck in a position, there will be suffering. Now, I don't mean that you personally have to drop your positions. I'm saying that me itself is a position. It's a reference point you're making about yourself based on some perception, sensation, idea, something. It is not true about you. Seeker is a position, finder is a position, lost is a position, found is a position. Now, the mind is a position machine. Everything it's saying is an offer for a position. Are you going to become positionless now? See, that is also an offer for a position. That is why it is the ATM, the anytime misery machine. Because all position is followed by some misery. What I'm showing you is so straightforward because it is simpler than simple. It is the position machine which has a more difficult job to convince you. You have no job. So the salesman can come. He might have the best offer. He will become an enlightened sage. You want to? You want to? And you will play like that. As consciousness, you have full freedom to pick up any positional offer. But know that any want is a misconception about what you are already. If you are already all there is, then how can you want something? And why all confusion is what? All confusion is confusion about I. Thank you, Amaya. Thank you, my dear. Ellen, thank you, my dear. Shivani says, Father, it is like you are in one of those tanks which take away all the senses. Then they start to play a voice inside the tank. And after some years in there, you feel like this voice is you. Yeah. Is it like that? Actually, it is that we feel like we've been isolated from the tank, and the rest of the voices are not me. And there is a specific voice which is me. Actually, every voice is me. But we learn to pretend as if only this is me. Niranjan says there's a question. Before that, Shanti says, Father, it seems that other is also a position. Yes, yes. As soon as there's a me, there's other. See? As soon as there's other, there's me. By definition, see, it is separation. Other means separation, me means separation. Just two words to signify this concept of separation. Niranjan can come.
Namaste, Father. Okay, so I have a question, Father, and maybe I want to, I don't know, I want to clarify something. It seems like, or let's say, why do I believe my thoughts? Like the other day also, on Facebook uh, I I SMS'd you on the chat about this repetitive, this repetitive thought patterns, which which get belief and bring suffering. It's a psychological suffering, and with me, I can see that it has definite association with my leg muscles. So I get leg cramps at the end of the day, and this is for so many years. It's for more than 10-15 years, and so it's like without doing anything, at the end of the day, you get fatigue. It's like chronic fatigue and leg cramps and this repetitive thought patterns in the mind. And many a time I realize that they are just 4 or 5 types, and it's like I'm suffering from same thought many a time, same thought again and again. See? And sometimes I think like, boy, how many times have I thought about this? So, but still, the pull. It's like I get into that, and sometimes I question. I try to inquire. Why is it that I believe this? So many times what I get an answer is that because there is an idea about me inside, like a character is there inside me, and I have been believing it for so many times, so long time, that even before I realize you are in, then when there is suffering, you suddenly realize what's going on. So it's like in and out, in and out. But still, sometimes it feels like it feels very sad. Why do I believe this? I don't know. So it's like I want to be free. I'm fed up. It's like I'm fed up of this thing. It's enough. I mean, how? So many times, sometimes even inquiry or and many times it happens when I try to be free from that suffering. It's kind of if you resist that suffering, it gets you into the same field, and so sometimes it feels like neither inquiry nor surrender. So then I do like I pray. Okay, I pray to God, but then also nothing seems to. So I want to ask that is it that my recognition is not very strong? Like when like when you have a powerful recognition that it blows away all the concepts or like. Uh, and basically like why this is happening, why still like still why.
So, you're right that the problem is this thought, this concept, this notion. You see? And you're absolutely right that the way to, some of the most powerful ways to get over this suffering because of these notions, as has been suggested by the sages, is to either surrender or to inquire. Now you say that I inquire and I ask myself, why? You see? Now you have to change one letter in that inquiry. Instead of WHY, you change it to WHO. Because the mind loves why. Why does it love why? Because there is no why. And this is where you will get the most resistance from the mind. Why are we here? There is no why. What is the purpose of this? There is none. What does it all mean? Nothing. It seems like that is the worst news. To the mind, that is the worst news. Because it makes you feel meaningless. You see? So it loves with playing with this question, why? But inquiry means who? You see? The fun thing is that as you ask who, and you come to this seeing clearly more and more, then the question why will not have a verbal response, will not have a conceptual answer, but you will know why. I will try to explain it as if it's play or as if it is trying to experience yourself as something. Maybe all these answers, but you know that none of these are the answers. So you will not know it conceptually. See? So then the mind will come and say, see, now I'm inquiring, but even inquiry is not working. The inquiry is wrong or is not fruitful. Let's put it like that. Why has no real answer in science, in philosophy, in religion. Everybody's grappling with the question why. Find out who first. Why for who? Why is it happening to me? Find out who me. That is the way to do the inquiry. Now, some of you get tired with the inquiry who don't want to do inquiry anymore. It doesn't work, Father. I'm tired of it now. Just that is fine too. That is fine too. Then you let it be my problem. You want to keep it your problem also, and then you want to presume that inquiry is something else and do it your way. then it's a struggle. So if you inquire now, and not even for the personal benefit, not even with an expectation. Isn't it relevant that we know who we are, even if we didn't get anything because of it? Isn't it so basic? It has been made into such a major question. But wouldn't it be relevant to know who you are, even if you didn't get any benefit out of it? Because you are presuming yourself to be something. And I'm telling you that it is not true. Isn't it worth exploring at least a little?
Father, this who am I is clear. I mean, I told you that it is a belief about myself. I can see that, but somehow, like, it feels that
Let's see if we can
uh,
have a let's see if we can have an interactive conversation even through all of this. So, who are you right now? Huh? Maybe
that I can't tell you.
who is it clear for?
It's clear for me. I mean, I'm seeing it. It's like I am not in it, and at the same time I am in it. It is seen. I am that seeing which sees that and which can report. I am, and there is a space. I can see that.
Yes. So this I, which sees everything, right? Sees everything. Is that I suffering?
That I witness is suffering. I mean,
Background noise, but assume you said that this is suffering. You see, now this might be the problem because you might feel like there's a me who is suffering, and then this I comes and replaces that suffering for the me. You see, now this is what I'm trying to show you that the I which you are, there are not two of you. There is one I that you are. See? Now, without the presumption of the me, there is no suffering. And every time there is a presumption of the me, it is bound to be followed by suffering. Okay? So, although the initial motivation might seem like it is for the me to get rid of the suffering, that I'm doing the self inquiry, but you find when you do the self inquiry, you see that the me doesn't escape the self inquiry. There is no me left to suffer or not suffer. That's why Guruji says the one who starts the inquiry is finished by the inquiry. You see? But many times what happens is that you take a dip, like you take a dip in the Ganga. You dip in, ha ha ha, and then you dip out. Oh, me is back. This dip from which you come back. Is that possible?
hello. Last sentence I could not hear.
I said that Let this dip be the dip in the Ganga from which you emerged. The one that dipped in will not come out of it.
Yes, it is like exactly what you said. It is like there are two of me. Like one who is suffering and one who is seeing that. But there is a feeling, there is a belief, or rather
Yes.
say, there is a belief that there is a me who is there. Like there is two of me.
This is the problem. The belief in the non-existent, whereas your experience is very clear about the true me. Now is there one of you or two?
That is one.
Okay, now become two. Become two.
I can become two if I can, I can believe my like I am so and so.
But just because you start believing you are, suppose you start believing you are Brad Pitt. You become Brad Pitt. Will that really
No.
one second is Brad Pitt? No. In the same way, that even when you give a belief to the state of being, you don't actually become something. You see? Now, why are we trying to solve this problem for Brad Pitt if he never really existed? Now, of course, he exists phenomenally somewhere else, but you are not it.
It's like it's not about that thing, it's about me. You see?
Yeah, this one is the Brad Pitt. This is me.
Because if you say any name, obviously I am not going to believe that, and that doesn't mean anything to me. But
But it,
there is a like
but it is as ludicrous. It is as ludicrous as yourself believing yourself to be Brad Pitt. It is in fact more. Because at least with Brad Pitt, you might have some clear idea of what he looks like, where he is. But with me, it's just so fictional. You say, no, not the body. There's one who's worried about freedom, one who cares about wanting to be free from suffering. Where is that one? Where is even the picture of that one? Where is this me? Just a vague belief system, isn't it? Just a very slippery, sort of vague belief system which is always changing the target. Sometimes it wants only freedom, sometimes it wants only freedom from something else, sometimes it only wants good relationship, sometimes it only wants money. See, where is this one?
it's in the thoughts. I mean, it's just in the thinking.
Is it okay if you type it out, my dear? It's not so audible what you're saying. Just type it out, maybe it's simpler to type. So I can. Yes. So you say it is in the thinking. The thinking is gone. Then you will say it is in the future when I think again. You see, this is how it plays. I'm saying thinking is gone. Right now you are free. Then the thinking itself will come and say, but what about when I come back. But again, it is gone. Our natural state is that in which identity is gone. We have this misconceived notion that we are living as the identity. Actually, identity just comes and goes. It might come and go many times, so it feels like it is our constant experience. But our constant experience is that of being free, actually. Like right now, your experience is that of being free. Right now, also. Now, also. Now, also. Now, one thought will come, and you might pick up some identity for a few moments, you see? But then gone. So, predominantly, even in the phenomenal play, most of humanity actually is free. That's exactly why I asked the question, when I can see clearly, why do I believe thoughts? This is why we've answered many times, and you know the answer. So I'm not indulging in that question because you know that as long as consciousness wants to play as an individual entity with its individual play, it will continue to. But the more important thing is that even though this belief might come, even though the pretend suffering might play out, what is really happening to you? Has anything ever really happened to you? Has there ever been one who has actually suffered? Is there really been a sufferer? That we saw is the pretend one. No sufferer, only suffering. But the minute it is seen there is no sufferer, it cannot land. You see, suffering. So we cannot Advaita this one. You see? When you see that there is no sufferer, then actually what suffering? So it is only the presumed sufferer which it forms the landing strip for the suffering. Why do I believe thoughts? Because consciousness is choosing to suffer with this question right now. If this was not there right now, what is your state? You see, sometimes even in this suffering, even in these very inquiry sounding thoughts, there is lurking a I, which is the sound. When you are saying, why do I believe thoughts? Are you asking why God believes thoughts? The self in its dynamic form is believing thoughts. The self is doing, the consciousness is doing what consciousness is doing. But I know that mostly when this question is asked, it is mostly like, why am I, Niranjan? Why am I, this body mind, still believing my thoughts? You are not. You do not exist. You don't have the power of belief. Who is the I even in this question is the inquiry. Same presumed one, exactly. This is how the mind will use even the things that you hear in satsang and try to use that as an ally for its individuality. That's why I often said, don't believe your next thought is not a personal strategy. Because if you try to make it a personal strategy as an antidote for suffering or something, then the mind will come up with these kind of questions. Oh, you know that to be free from suffering, you just have to drop your belief. But look at you, you just keep believing. All the time telling you the story of the presumed you. See? So, even don't believe your next thought. It relies on your seeing that which you say, I can see clearly. It is reliant on that eye playing as consciousness, not that small eye which is playing as Niranjan. That there is no pointing here for that presumed one. You see? Because that itself is the root of all suffering. It will take whatever you hear in satsang and use it for its own means. This is just consciousness reminding consciousness. Now, if you say why, why does consciousness have to remind consciousness? There is no why. It is just part of the play. But consciousness reminding consciousness that it is not that limited one. It is not the presumed one. And this is naturally what is in this moment. The mind will convince you first to pick up the mask of the me and then say, now solve it for me. You see? That is why inquiry is to see where this eye is pointing. Am I the masked one pretending to wanting to want to get rid of freedom? The mask itself is suffering. The mask of the me is the mask of suffering. And then wearing that mask tries to play the game of getting rid of suffering. There is nothing for this I to do. There is nothing for this masked one to do. But I'm reminding myself as consciousness that it's time that we are done with this mask. So inquire now for the sake of the truth. Don't even inquire for any psychological benefit, any physical benefit, any body benefit. Because that expectation itself will keep that presumed me on your back, you see. That my depression should go away, my something should happen. It'll keep you strapped into the me. That's why I asked you the question. Isn't it worth it to find out who I really am, even if there was no benefit to it? Very good. I remember the first time he came to Satsang, or maybe the first few days, The first time we spoke like this, it was very simple and clear, and he was like, was it you? Huh? Yeah. So then I said, yes, awakening is a face palm moment. Yeah. Awakening is a face palm moment. It's just like, oh, it's just something I've been believing about myself. I've always only been this. It's a big face palm moment. You see, that's why you don't know whether to laugh or cry. You see, sometimes you get very enamored by why all this laughter and crying happens. It's just like a big. This was it. It was always this. What? That continues to be your truth. It's just that the momentum, the power of this conditioning, in the play that is so beautifully designed by this consciousness, can seem to still get us, get our belief many times. So that's why I feel like even yesterday's satsang, I don't know whether you watched that, it's very useful because it clearly outlines all of this, the seeming human condition, and also what has been prescribed to come to this recognition and to be free from the idea of I am something. I will hardly ever recommend, like I'll hardly ever say, okay, everyone should watch that satsang of mine or something. But I have to say about yesterday, I feel like there was this arising from here which was coming with a lot of clarity. Okay, last question from Jyotima, and plus I want to read some of the chat and see what's happening. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Jyotima.
Father, you know, like he was saying, the pain which he has, and then you. So you know, when I'm in this treatment, and it's really can be very painful. And I was hearing the satsang in the car while I was going there, and when it like became really intense, so it was the question was not why am I having this, but who is this suffering one. And you know, when I just want to clarify how I was doing the inquiry, because I mean there's pain and it's tangible there. And so when I ask who, and I kept silent to just to see, and it shifts from here, there, and everywhere, and then finally it was really funny. This me, the suffering me, seemed to be like it's my throat, because when I look at the pain, is it my leg which is saying it's suffering? No. Is it my head which is saying no? You know, I mean, I don't know what I was doing, but it seemed like it was like my throat which is the me who was suffering. And I let just observe, just kept observing it. But at the end, I realized that it was my mind, it was the mind me, that me who had made this condition that, oh, in X number of things I should be well, and that this inquiry should cure me from this suffering. And it became so apparent that I can't say that the pain went away, but the experience of it was much, less than. But it suddenly just revealed that it was still the I, that the me I, who wanted to use this inquiry to release. It had just made this drama. But having said all this, Father, it really is difficult to keep on, when the sensation comes to suddenly want to inquire or something, it's really tiring. I don't know. I'm just trying to really surrender this, because it seems absurd to want to play such a game where you just keep hurting yourself. I mean, I don't know who's saying this. It sounds like the me, but I'm tired.
See, how to come to this surrender has been what we've been talking about for the last few days, actually. To be surrendered means to have no idea, to not know anything at all. Now, of course, when pain is there, then pain is experienced. And you check rightly to see who is suffering from this pain. But whatever the objective experience might be, inquiry means to look at what witnesses that. So whether it is energetic sensation in the throat, or if it is a concept of something, to inquire means to find out who witnesses that, what is perceiving that. Can that perceiver be perceived? Whatever the content of the experience might be. Whatever the content of the experience might be. So the problem is that when we inquire with expectation, then there's always this monkey on our back which is saying, is the symptom going away? Is the feeling going away? Am I feeling better? That's why today I've been saying that just inquire for inquiry. Inquire for the truth. It is worth it independent of any other benefit. So, and as you make no conclusions, as inquiry becomes so open that no conclusion is forming about anything, then you will see that surrender and inquiry are actually one. Because you will never find I, which you can say, ah, that is me. No notion will ever live up to your discovery of yourself. You will say, there is no me. I can't find a me. These things you will say. But you will never be able to point in any direction and say, that is me. And yet it is your very own discovery. This is the beauty of this. So many get frustrated because this, I've been looking at for this for so long, I just don't find it. How many satsangs does it take? How much inquiry does it take? Because it can feel like one day I will find the I as if it is an experience of the I. But the truth is much more obvious than that, simpler than that, but cannot be painted in a picture, cannot be described in a concept. And yet it is your very discovery. So, as we remain empty of any concept, any notion about anything, then that is surrender and inquiry. The fruit of the inquiry is apparent. And there is never a sufferer, there is never a, the owner of anything unless there is a concept. So surrender is just naturally present. Then actually even the terms, I rarely will say something like that. But at this point, even the terms inquiry and surrender will become meaningless. They will just be used when the Guru puts them in your mouth to share with others. All concepts like body, world, universe, God, consciousness, awareness, they don't point to anything at all. Good, good, good. Finish your treatment quick, and come to Bangalore and stay here. It'll be good.
I want to leave today if I could. It's it's just complicated, but I'm just happy that I can keep hearing Satsang, and like I was transcribing yesterday's thing, and uh, something just gets clearer every time. It's without, I mean, some concept.
I saw you were in the hospital or something and Satsang was on. So
Really,
it
you figure
reminded
I
me.
was in the hospital. I normally figure it out once I reach the hospital.
Reminded
Sounds
me of the time she went from
yeah.
Australia. She was in Satsang but in the hospital. And you're like, so what happened? Nothing much, just a heart attack.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a minor heart attack. If you attending Satsang in the hospital, the hospital bed.
it's no. I'm just really grateful because the slyness of the mind or whatever seems to get more revealed as things get intense. You see, this is just another way of, I don't know. But on the other hand, if you don't go that
Yes.
path and
I'm
stick
saying
to
that,
what,
yeah, that's what I'm saying, that now the way I'm telling you is
yeah,
that empty of all notion, then leaves very little for the mind to be slack. Leaves very little. That's why same Shivani also told me about some quote from Bhagwan yesterday where he said, coming to knowledge is becoming empty of all your concepts. The removal of ignorance is to remove all concepts you believe about yourself. See, that is true knowledge. So now, if you're not going to the mind for any idea about anything at all, then actually we are putting the mind in a box from which it cannot escape.
Yeah.
The mind has made us run out of time. But with this one, there is saying, I don't care whatever you might be saying. All I care about is Guruji. Then the mind is in a box. It has no escape. It has to disappear.
But you know, Father, when I am in that box there, it's really like a box. It's just like satsang, and I mean, I just put in satsang and forget about whatever they keep doing, and it's a surrender in a way. And like you said, I mean, either I can begin from my mind, or like you keep pointing us to just begin as conceptless, you know, whatever silence now, and not, you know, I think I can try to. I've been spending so much time fighting the mind or playing with the mind, or or like you said, put it away and begin from where you know that silence is. And I'm so grateful. You know? I mean, I'm really, really, really grateful, and I just can't wait to get back to Bangalore.
In a
And
few
I
weeks,
hope, please do some magic, Father. Please, I want to leave.
magic is always on.
Thank you, Father.
You too, my dear Krishna. And Anil also, although he keeps chatting, keeps typing. To do with his boy. Thank you all so much for being in Satsang today. Sadguru Shri Muji Baba ki Jai.
Sadguru Shri Ananta Ji ki Jai.
Thank you, Maya, my dear. Good to see you. Or not see you, but see you. I missed one, yes, but from Shanti. No? Was Shanti saying something, or was she joking at that time? Shanti can tell me a message, or she can let me know. Were you joking about the yes, but right in the beginning, no? You posted something about the other. Then there was,
No, Father. Yeah, no, I'm half joking, but there is a slight doubt. There's a doubt, and because I'm so dependent on everyone, but it's okay. I lay it all at your feet. I lay everything at your feet. This doubt, whatever other, it's all there. It's no problem. Thank you. Love you. Mm.